a service of CNC Worldwide.
The Daily is a service of CNC News and Jib Jab Greetings. I'm Bud Lowell. You find the AccuWeather forecast right across the top of this and all CNC local news pages. New York State is 2/3 of the way to overhauling its gun control laws, and that would make it the first state in the nation to do so, following the shootings in Newtown, Connecticut, and West Webster. This is the result of a compromise worked out between Governor Andrew Cuomo, the state Senate, and the state Assembly. It combines tougher rules on ownership of so-called assault-style rifles and ammunition purchases. Those are favored by Democrats. And it combines them with a slate of tougher penalties on the use of illegal guns to commit crimes in New York, favored by Republicans. The state Senate passed the joint measure late Monday night. The Democratic majority state Assembly is debating the measure as this is said. They've been on that since morning. They'll probably be going on it right through the afternoon and possibly into the evening before they vote. Kings County Democrat Joe Lenthal is leading the debate on this measure, and here's what he had to say in introducing it.
And I'm proud, as I know others are, that New York is taking the lead on this issue because we must prevent and protect our public from the mass destruction that can now take place in literally seconds, because we do allow our citizens to own weaponry.
State law currently declares assault weapons to be rifles, shotguns, or pistols that have certain military-style characteristics, mostly including the ability to accept the detachable, higher-capacity ammunition magazine, a folding stock, flash suppressor on the muzzle. The more restrictive law adds the pistol-style grip found on some shotguns and on the AR-15-style rifles that were used by the Newtown and West Webster shooters. Existing weapons will be grandfathered, but you'll have a year to register them with the state police. This also restricts ammunition magazines to no more than 7 bullets, down from the current 10. Higher capacity than 10, get rid of the magazines. Those who have 10-round magazines can keep them, but can only put 7 rounds in them. Owners of the high-capacity magazines have a year to get rid of them. After that, a gun owner caught with 8 or more rounds in a magazine could face a misdemeanor charge. There will be tougher mental health reporting requirements on therapists and on doctors who believe a patient has made credible threats to use a gun violently. The pattern of the debate in the Assembly so far has been the larger urban areas favoring or tending to favor the legislation, the more rural areas, which also tend to be represented more by Republicans, opposing it. This is Assemblyman Mark Butler. His district in the Mohawk Valley includes Ilion, which happens to be the home of Remington Arms Company, a major manufacturer and employer in his area.
We're taking up a bill that, number one, tramples on the constitutional rights of our constituents to legally possess firearms, that uses a process to bring this bill forward by fiat rather than a legislative process that allows for public input and reasoned deliberation, and finally has the potential to put at risk hundreds of jobs in the already economically depressed Mohawk Valley.
We'll have an update on this once the legislature votes. The legislation does, by the way, increase sentences for gun crimes that involve the shooting of a first responder. Governor Cuomo calls that the Webster provision after last month's ambush of the 4 West Webster firefighters by an ex-convict. While this is going on in Albany, Rochester police are investigating the city's first homicide of 2013. It happened in the middle of Monday afternoon on Roycroft Drive off North Street on the northeast side. Police say the victim is a 24-year-old man who was shot multiple times. They haven't released his identity so far. Officers were flagged down by a neighborhood resident who heard the shots and found the victim lying in the middle of the street. Police say this happened at a busy time of day when children were on their way home from school. They say there must be witnesses. They're asking for people to come forward and tell them what happened. The Rochester Philharmonic Orchestra Board of Directors has reached a new 4-year contract agreement with the orchestra musicians. Terms of the contract have not been announced. The RPO board reached agreement with the Musicians Negotiating Committee, the collective bargaining unit for the musicians. Committee co-chair Wesley Nance said the agreement includes painful concessions the first 2 years with restorations in years 3 and 4. He says it recognizes the tough financial challenges of the orchestra while trying to meet the needs of the musicians. Orchestra president and CEO Charles Owens said the RPO annual campaign has reached $1.6 million. It's about $184,000 ahead of this time last year. There's been concern over the continued level of community financial support after the board's dismissal of music director Arild Remerite. The Monroe County Sheriff's Department has charged a man with DWI after he put his SUV onto the porch of a house on Clarkson-Hamlin Town Line Road. Deputies said the man crashed about 11 Monday night when he failed to stop at the intersection with Drake Road, went over a berm, into the yard, and up on the front porch. The house received minor damage, so did the driver. They took him to Strong Memorial to be patched up. And the Livingston County Sheriff's Department says a Springwater woman has been charged with petty larceny and criminal possession of controlled substances. They say while working at a local nursing facility, Lisa Jacobs was underdosing the residents and keeping the pills for herself. The 29-year-old LPN was arrested and arraigned in Mount Morris Town Court after the nursing home staff tipped off investigators. Deputies aren't saying which nursing facility was involved. To the left of the player window, you'll find links to these and other stories on CNC News, and at the bottom of the page, links you can use to post news items directly to us. We are a community news resource, so let us know about your birth, wedding announcements, business openings. All that sort of thing is of interest to us. Next news is as it happens. Updates are when necessary. You help us be the judge of that. I'm Bud Lowell, CNC News.